Afternoon, everyone. So, Sunday, 17th September. So, this is actually the first time on this podcast I'll actually be doing a post recording following the actual podcast. I feel like a professional finally. I'm going to be actually referring back to my podcast episode, and it's going to be quite good actually. So, today's actually a first of a kind for my podcast and for me. It's my first featured guest, and my first featured guest is actually a client of mine who has recently been on my 6-week home program. So basically, what we do is we do a little pre-consult, and then we do 6 weeks program, and it's a set program, so they get 12 workouts a month, all done from home. And then she did a review, and basically the results itself, I was so buzzing with it, I just wanted to share with everyone else. And just because I think a lot of people in this podcast could relate to this, and I think it's going to be that oh shit light bulb moment that people need just to hear from a real woman like Hannah. So I really hope everyone enjoys her story here today. Again, I don't want to harp on too much about myself. It has been my birthday weekend. I have enjoyed it. So I just want to say a little public thank you to anyone who's wished me a happy birthday, contributed in any sort of way. I really do appreciate any love and support throughout this time. So thank you very much. But just before I part ways with everyone and give you Hannah and my conversation, just want to apologise. My audio wasn't the best during it. Hannah's audio is spot on. But I will... I want to ask one question. Does pineapple belong on pizza? I'm going to throw it in the Spotify Q&A so you can vote for it. So, does pineapple belong on pizza? I don't really care if it is on pizza. I don't think it belongs on it. It tastes okay on pizza. Would I buy it? No, because there's so many better options than ham and pineapple. But you know what? I want to hear from you guys. So, controversial question as always. So, on the Spotify Q&A, vote yes or no. Does it belong on pizza? And enjoy today's episodes, guys. Right, so how about we go with this straight away? How about you just tell me a little bit about yourself, Hannah, so I don't have to explain that too much?
Yeah, so I'm Hannah, and I am a 42-ish something year old mum of three. I've got two older boys who are in their early 20s now, and I've got a younger boy, Drew, who's 3, due to turn 4 in November. Mm-hmm. I work from home. I work 4 days a week, but I'm desk based, so I sit a lot. And that was kind of, I think, the beginning of the end for me with my fitness and my weight and stuff like that. And I think it started to grate on me a little bit that I didn't move and do much. So yeah, and I think when you work from home and you've got time on your own, you have time to dwell on things, particularly your weight and how you look and how you feel, so things like that.
So kind of like being on your own kind of played on you a wee bit.
Yeah, definitely. And I think because you're out of the office and in my last job, I was office based before I had Drew. Yeah. And I was based on the waterfront in Liverpool. So every lunchtime there was a big group of us, and we'd go out and we'd walk all the way down to I can't never remember the name of the park right on the far end, and then walk all the way back again. And it was great every day.
No, I know what you mean. Like, so was that? So you said about you changed your jobs. Was that like just related to Drew? Was that like COVID related?
Yeah. So I went on maternity leave, and then COVID hit. Literally 2 months into my maternity leave, so that was a waste of maternity leave. But never mind, that's a whole other story. And then what I did then is had a whole year off. I managed to save my holidays and have a whole year off with Drew. And then when I went back, it was working from home, and then a day in the office, and then working from home. And it was over in Liverpool, and my brother actually offered me a job, and he said, it'd be working from home, similar salary, but you won't have to commute to Liverpool. And that was a given for me, because I thought I don't want to commute back to Liverpool when I've got a little one in nursery over the on the Wirral.
Yeah, definitely.
So it was just, I think for me, it was a better work-life balance.
That suited you really well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Down the line, as things I suppose started to open up and free up, and as he's grown up, have you noticed any changes or anything, like how that's made you feel or anything?
Yeah, I mean, now he's older and I've been working. I do miss the office environment a little bit. I miss the chat and stuff like that. And like I said, that when you've got people around you going out and going for a walk you know, for half an hour every lunchtime, literally every lunchtime, whether it was blowing a gale or, you know, cracking the flags. I miss other people not around you pushing you on to say, come on, we're all going out for a walk. You know, there was always someone who wanted to do it, and that forced you all to go and do it, really, didn't it? You know,
I think that's really important, isn't it? Because like, environment's such a massive thing, isn't it? Like, it's on those days where you don't want to do it, someone else just being like, come on, we're all doing it, come on, you can get involved.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm very lucky in the close that I live in now. I've got a couple of friends here, and actually one of my friends lives around the corner. She's great. She goes to the gym and stuff. She's all, you know, into her fitness, and she started saying to me, let's go for a walk at lunchtime. So probably once or twice a week we'll go out for a walk at lunchtime together. We've not been so great over the summer holidays because her kids have been off school, but we try and do once or twice a week to go out for a walk. And you know, sometimes it doesn't happen because of work commitments, and you know, she can't leave at 12 and I can leave at 12, and you know, the usual. But it's actually quite nice to have someone to go for a walk with. You know, it pushes you to go and do it. Because otherwise, you sit at home and you think, oh, I'll just carry on working. And you don't get up from your desk, do you?
It's so easy, isn't it? When you're doing, like you said, when you're working from home, when you're doing your own thing, and there's no external person, whether that be, like you said, the friend in that scenario, whether it's a coach, whether it's just anyone or anything, like you work with them, like to kind of get stuck in those habits, isn't it? Like you don't feel like it's easy to talk. It's almost easy to talk yourself out of something, isn't it? It's like, I was going to do that, but I've got to do this instead. You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, so I suppose that's actually a really good background, to be fair. That actually gives a good little leeway into you. So obviously you've done my home program. So my home program was actually something brand new. I actually just released at the time, and you actually were the first one to jump onto it, to be fair.
Yeah.
So what made you? Because I always find this with anyone, if you buy anything. So if I'm buying something online, you know it's there for a while, right? Or you know someone's there for a while, right?
Yeah.
What was the factor that got you over the line? What was okay, I'm going to do this finally? Like, what was that decision in your head, or what made you?
So I come from a really sporty background. My family is really sporty. They all race sidecars, motorbikes, you know, the usual. We were actually in the Isle of Man for the TT races, and it was so hot. It was so hot over there, and I was at the heaviest that I've ever been, even before my other two children. And that whole time while I was there, it was so hot, and I was embarrassed to be in a pair of shorts. That was the be all and end all of it. And I just didn't feel nice. I didn't feel happy with how I felt. I didn't feel. Now you watch things online like TikTok and, you know, Instagram, and you're seeing people at the gym, and you just think, I'm not motivated to go to the gym. I don't enjoy it. I mean, I might enjoy it in the future, and I'm maybe starting to feel that way more now. But it's a daunting thing to go. And when you've got no motivation, there's no point joining a gym, is there? You know, it's a whole load of money that you're not motivated to go. You're not going to go. It's a waste of money. Then you get frustrated because you're wasting your money, and it's like a vicious circle, isn't it?
Yeah, so, definitely.
And to be honest, I probably wouldn't know what to do in the gym. That, you know, it kind of... So fitting all that in as well with home life, you know, I've got a little one, I'm working from home. We have a busy life with the racing. You know, we go away quite a lot of the weekends, and we have quite a lot on. And I saw your program, and I thought, do you know what, actually that would really suit my life. Because I could fit that in around, if I'm motivated enough, and I am now at that point, back in sort of the end of June, I was motivated enough to say I want to do something about how I feel and how I look now. But I've got to fit it in around my life, and it was kind of having that balance. And when I saw your home program, I thought, do you know what, I could make an hour at lunchtime. There's no one at home. I'm on my own. I could make an hour at lunchtime to do a workout. Let's give it a go. Do you know what I mean? And I've got the instructions were good. Do you know what I mean? It was a great price as well. That was, you know, a big thing. I did see a post somebody put, you've got to invest in yourself to get results, and it's true, you know, but the cost of living and all the rest of it, it's hard. But this was for me, I felt like it was a good price for all the instructions that I was getting, the support that I was getting. And obviously, you know, previously you've coached me at rugby, so I knew your past and how good you were at supporting people, and your ethos and your work ethics, and that I just thought, this if anything's hitting me in the face now as the package to get sorted, this is it for me.
You know what? The amount of people that I have, like I coach at the moment, I think everyone bar one person I have coached before in my previous life at some point. Like I actually think everyone I'm coaching currently, I have previously coached, whether it be rugby, PT, in some
Yeah.
form, shape, or form. And everyone always comes back to that. There's like, I just remember when we used to work together, you were decent then, so I knew that this,
Yeah.
this fitted in with what I needed now. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna give it. So I actually, no, I really do appreciate that. But one thing you just said, and I'm glad you said it because it's something I try to get across to a lot of people, and it does sound like because obviously at the end of the day I am running the business. I can't hide that at the end of the day, but health is an investment,
It
and
is. Yeah.
it's weird, isn't it? It's like I can't remember the phrase they say, but it's like if you think this is difficult now, just imagine how difficult it'll be down the line when you're not doing anything about it.
Yeah. That's it. That's
And
it.
it's
And
like, go on.
no, go on.
I was gonna say no. It's just like, and you think like I get that, and like you said, cost of living definitely does come into it, and I wholeheartedly appreciate it. But it's like there's there's levels to coaching in every way. Like there's different like there is obviously like designer clothing versus Primark. Like there's the same in terms of coaching, I guess. And yes, the value is one thing, but like
Yeah.
there's different levels of support you can get. So you know you can get a bit more hands off coaching where you get a little less support, but you still get
Yeah.
instruction. Or get really intense coaching where it's like one to one, holding your hand every day sort of vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. But I suppose, for me, the way I saw coaching was you joined a gym,
Yeah,
which was like 30, 40 upwards a
yeah,
month. And then you paid on top of that for a PT.
yeah,
And then, if you wanted it once a month, you're still going to end up paying 60 quid as a whole package. And that's quite a lot, for some people
yeah.
these days. And, there's all that to balance up, isn't there? But for me, it's brilliant because I feel
Brilliant.
it works for me, the level that I'm getting. And it
That's good.
almost makes me self accountable because it's not face to face, so it
Yeah.
always makes you self accountable.
I'm so
Whereas,
glad you said that because that's one of the biggest. It's almost like it's weird. It's a selling point, but it's also a thing that's valuable to you as a person or as a member or a client, whatever you want to
yeah,
call it.
yeah, and
Online coaching is you can't, you don't have your hand held the whole time. You get support, but you've also got to make some decisions yourself off of,
yeah,
some information from myself, but also off your own decisions. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's it. And a lot, the way I sort of saw it is if I went to a gym and got a PT, and that works great for lots of people, but for me, I knew I would only do it while I was there with the PT. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So this is really putting it back on
Yeah.
myself and making me accountable for my results. So that's good.
That's phenomenal. Honestly, that's a really, do you know what? If I could have dreamt to get that point out, I would have definitely, but um, kind of like not too dissimilar. So you obviously said about why you joined and like kind of like how it fitted you perfectly, the price point and all that. There's always that bit, like, and I've done it before. Do you know when you buy something online, particularly? There's always that, they call it buyer's remorse. Do you know when you buy it and there's that oh shit moment in your head,
Yeah.
and it's like, did you have anything like that, or did you have any reservations when you did it? And like, be honest, like, I don't mind if you did or you didn't. To be fair,
No, no. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I first signed up, and do you know what? I started those sort of 2 weeks before the official sort of startup went. I did think, is this going to be sustainable for me? That was my
yep,
thought. How do I fit all this into my life?
yep,
And that was a good thing actually, because that was what I needed. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't, I buy it and that's got to fit in around my life. It was to do with making changes in my life to make it fit in because it's important and I need to do it.
good.
So
Priority.
yeah, that's it. But no, I didn't regret it at all. I actually,
Okay,
because
cool.
when I signed up onto the app I never remember the name of it.
Yeah,
But when I started using that and I looked through it and there was the videos, which I really love, I think they're really good.
good.
I like the instructions, the way I can look around it and I can go back and see what I've done and what I've missed. And it's brilliant. It's really good. I don't regret it.
I'm glad you said that. No, I don't really talk about the app too much, but the app I only get to see it occasionally from the client side, but it's handy in terms of like having the calendar on there, having the videos on there, having the notes on there.
Yeah.
I think it's handy that you can just message me in the exact same app as well. So it's nice to have one, because I've done coaching before myself personally. Like I get coached as well.
Right.
I've had one where I've had a Google Drive, I've had to have a workout app, and I've had to have another app, and I'm like, I've already got enough stress in my life. So I'm glad you found it simple at least.
Yeah, no, it is good. I like the app. I think it's really good. And like I said, the videos on it are really good. I like
Perfect.
them. They're really helpful.
I always like to ask this one, like, because this is interesting, because obviously, like you said, this was the right time to change. And it's interesting. It's like you ask anyone who's like wanting to lose a wee bit of weight, they probably wanted to do for a while. Why did you not change it? Try to change earlier, or why did you not make a step forward earlier? Like in your opinion, or was it just like you said, you tried obviously that it was a good time and a good price and all that, but like, is there any other reasons you might not have stepped forward earlier?
Yeah, I think as a mum of a young person and older children as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you get into a rut of life where you carry on, you get up, you do your stuff, you take the kids to preschool and nursery, and you shoo them off to university or whatever.
yeah.
You sit down at work, you come home, you do tea, and that's it's a big rut of life. Do you know what I mean? You tend it all almost it's just everyday life, and you're just unhappy about how you look and how you feel, and you tend just to not to do with it because you don't have time to think about it or
Yeah.
act on it. And I think for me, like I said, it was just that turning point of feeling so uncomfortable in a pair of shorts
Mhm.
around my family and our race team and stuff. I just thought, no, I've got to get out of this rut.
It is,
um
isn't it? Like you said, I think like I used the word rut the other day, obviously, and like you've used it there as well. And it
yeah
is when you do like daily life, like you said, it's almost like you take things that are just really mundane and they do cover up certain things that you can feel, don't they? Like you want something, but
yeah
it's like how can I get this whilst I'm doing everything else I need to do within my life?
yeah. And I think sometimes it's you think, well, it doesn't fit in with my life, so I can't even think about it, can't even look at it. Where would I even get time to do that?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's that change of mindset, or I think it was a collection of things, like I've said, that made me change my mindset to say, well, actually, it's not something that's going to fit in with me. I need to change. I need to come out
Mhm.
of this rut and start making it fit into my life, because it can.
Yeah.
You can do it, and it takes time, and sometimes it's a bit of a balancing act, and
Mhm.
chopping and changing and deciding how you're going to do it, but it is doable, definitely.
And did you have any of those weeks in like over obviously we've been done the first 6 weeks. Obviously the first 6 weeks like kind of like I'll get on board, kind of get everything up to speed sort of still. Did you have any of those weeks where it was like, some weeks you're like, yeah, I've got this all planned in, and the next week's like, oh God, I don't know where this is going to fit in. Did you have any of those kind of weeks?
Yeah, I had a few of those weeks, and particularly sort of July, August is really busy with us with our racing. So
Uh,
sometimes I would be away from Friday through to late Sunday night. So sort of
mhm.
exercises, apart from doing the steps around the circuit, it's
Yeah.
kind of out of the question. So then I would be thinking, right, I've got Monday to Friday that I've got to fit in 3 workouts, and then Monday I ended up sitting at my desk all day, and then I'd be like, oh, I've got to work out tonight, and then Drew would be up till 9 o'clock, and it you are constantly juggling, and it's deciding and making those choices, right? Okay, well, I'm going to have to skip today, but then I can do one tomorrow, so it's not the end of the world. Let's just fit it in tomorrow. And I think this program has definitely, and we've talked about this, haven't we? It's definitely taught me to plan more and be a little bit more organized with what I'm doing with my nutrition, and with, planning when I'm going to do my workouts a little bit more, rather than just getting to Friday and being like, oh gosh, I've got another workout I've got to do, and I'm going away at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I've got to pack the caravan and everything else and do a workout. So it's definitely taught me to be a lot more forward thinking and planning a lot more.
That's the thing. Like, look, I always, it's a hard one because like obviously people want things. I never like to say it, but people want things easier. Of course we do. We don't want things to be difficult,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. It makes it easier if we plan things in place. I know there's things that always move around, but everyone has some mini sort of structure, even if they work shifts and stuff like that, and they change it
Yeah.
around. You can always be like, right, this is what's on for the next day or two. What can I do in the next day or two that suits me? Like, how you have your jobs to do around the house, you have your
Yeah.
kids here and there. You're like, right, I've got a 2 hour window to get between here and here. What can I do? If I've only got 20 minutes, I'll make the most of those 20 minutes. And I think that's the biggest thing I'm always thinking about. It's like there's always an opportunity. It's just how you see the opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, I've completed the, I mean, I didn't at the beginning, and like I said, we did talk about that, didn't we? About how I fit things in. But when there was times where I know I should have done a workout
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have time, I'd get a half an hour walk in instead. So it really shifted, rather than just saying, oh, well, I can't do it and I can't fit it in and just carrying on with the day. I tried to do something almost, not to replace it, but almost to say, well, okay, I didn't quite fit that in today, so I did something else, but I'm still trying. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just giving up flat for the day. And, you know, even if it was going out for a 20-minute walk at 5 o'clock with Drew when I got home from preschool, like, get on your scooter, off we go round the block, you know, just to keep moving. And I know I'm not going to fit in a workout tonight, but I can get in a 20-minute round the block really quick. Let's go.
Yeah. That's the thing, it's reframing that, isn't it? Like, don't get me wrong, like whether it's, like you said, in your case, the home workouts, whether it's someone else's gym workouts, it's reframing. It's like, look, the ideal scenario would be to do my full workout, have my nutrition all sorted. Today's not gone the day I've wanted because, I don't know, someone phoned me, I've got to pick someone up, or Drew's had something happen to him.
Yeah,
and like,
that's it.
Like, well, what can I do at the end of all this? And like, even if like I don't even want to do a workout, well, you know what, if I got out for a bit of air and just took Drew and we just had a bit of bonding time, you know, it can also mentally just like ease you off as well as physically do the job as well.
That's it. Yeah. And I when I first started, I was like, my time to do workout is going to be lunchtime. You know, that's when no one is at home. I'm on my own. I can, you know, I can give myself an hour to have a workout, get a shower, and get back to work.
Yeah.
And now I'm sort of 6 weeks down the line. I'm doing a little bit of lunchtime. I'm doing them 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm doing them 5 o'clock in the evening. I'm doing them 9 o'clock in the evening. So I'm a lot more flexible. Whereas I think when I first started, I was quite rigid with when I needed to work out, and I found that didn't really work. You know, I didn't have to do them at lunchtime. I just needed to arrange my day better. And I think as well, people you live with, you know, my husband has been great. He's kind of accepted. Yeah, she's gonna, you know, I'd say, well, do you mind if I have a workout and you put Drew to bed? You know, rather than wait until Drew's gone to bed, I would start it while he's going to bed. So, you know, it's about support as well, I suppose, around you.
Yeah, that support network, and almost like delegating some things. Like, I know obviously don't want to talk about it, sound like a not task, but like when you have jobs and things, house, it's like sometimes, because we get taught it in work all the time, isn't it? Don't like manage everything, you know, manage what's important.
Yeah.
And, you know, prioritize yourself. Be like, do you have to put him to bed? Well, no, sometimes I want to, so I'll do that this day. But then, like, you know what? I want a bit of me time, and I'll be a bit ahead. Maybe spend time with my husband afterwards as well. Do you know, like,
that's it. Yeah.
Fills up all your different cups. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's a really, really good point in that regard. Like you said, you found more space in your day, and like I said, it's finding those gaps and opportunities as opposed to the mindset before where it was like, well, here's my barriers and this is why I can't do it. Whereas now you're in that stage where it's like, well, I know I've got these barriers, but this is how I think I can get around them instead.
Yeah, definitely. And this is going to sound silly, but the actual how I feel after I've worked out, the lift it gives me, and how sort of euphoric I feel after I've done a workout. Yeah. It's so much. It almost drives me to fit it in now, because I feel so much mentally. I feel so much better once I've done a workout. You know, I can be having a terrible day, and I think, right, do you know what? I just need to go and have a workout. I just need to go do one of my workout sessions, or go out for a long walk, or do something where I'm moving, and it just feels. It really, really boosts my endorphins, definitely, and I've really noticed that it's been quite a nice feeling.
Love that. Like, at the end of the day, like, I try not, with my brand particularly, I try not to push too. Like, I appreciate people want to change weight. I appreciate people want to change their bodies and stuff like that. But I always see a bigger picture behind it. It's like you said, it's like the confidence in someone. It's the how well they feel day to day mentally. Like, I think if you get those two things nailed down, you'll get the physical things no matter what.
Yeah.
You'll want to do, and you'll find ways of doing it. Whereas if you haven't got someone mentally bought in, or like just wanting to do it, they're not going to be able to do it long term. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And don't get me wrong, it took me a couple of weeks to get into is this sustainable? Can I do it? How does it fit in? And am I enjoying it? Am I just doing it to get thin? And, you know, and maybe my mindset's changed now. I'm actually doing it because I enjoy it and I feel better. I feel so, like, mentally, I can't tell you that, and I sleep better. My restless leg seems to have settled down, and, you know, my body seems to be, you know, my skin's better. Literally everything. I could go on and on and on about the changes that I've seen, and it's great. It's really good.
It's nice because, like I said, obviously I hear certain bits, but like even hearing that, like when you're in your own words, there, it's unbelievable, honestly. So, I think you've maybe answered a few of these. So, like, I just wanted to ask a few questions. Like, I suppose, like, during the process, like, have you had any like lessons, experiences, or challenges that you've had to kind of deal with? Like, so you mentioned obviously like prioritizing your own time was a bit of a challenge, and you've worked on that. Maybe the workouts themselves, like, did you have any challenges with them? Maybe.
Yeah, so when I first started doing the workouts, obviously I bought myself a set of weights, so little dumbbells, and I was a bit, have I have I joined a program where I needed to be fit to start it? I suppose that was my worry probably initially. And actually no, because there's no, if you're doing, I don't know, say 10 reps of something, you get to 7 and you think, oh my gosh, I just need to stop for 2 minutes because my arms are going to fall off. That's okay. Just stop, get your breath back and do the last 3. There's no, that for me, because when I first started, I was like, oh, I can't do it. I can't get to 10. But then it's changing your mindset to say, well, you can get to 10. You just don't need to bang out 10, straight, one after the other. You can stop between it and then, complete and finish. But the videos I found were really good because they gave you the technique, because obviously you're quite worried when you're first starting. Am I doing it right? Is this going to have any effect? Because I don't even know whether I'm in the right position but the videos I found really, really helpful. And actually they alleviated a lot of, stress about how I was doing it, because I'd do it and think, maybe not right. Go back, rewatch the video. Okay, let's try again. And sometimes I'd do it in front of my bifold doors because I've got a reflection. Then I could see what technique I was doing. So that helped. But yeah, no, I didn't. The workouts actually, like I said, and with you, sometimes I've said to you, oh, I couldn't, I can't do push-ups. I don't know what it is. I've never in my whole life been able to do push-ups. But there's alternatives. I can do it on my knees. I can do it against the sofa or a chair or something higher. And then sometimes there was, I think at the beginning, I suffered doing with my knees, doing star jumps. And then what I did is once I got to understand and count and know all the sort of exercises that we were doing, I would sort of swap them around a little bit. So I knew I couldn't do star jumps because my knees were hurting. So I did I can't remember the name of it. The one with the warm up where you're sort of jumping over and touch the floor I can't remember that one. But yeah, so it was, I think it's not thinking you failed, but let's just swap it in for something else. So I'm still doing something. I'm still getting the effects. That was kind of my learning from it.
I think that's one of the best things as well, again, because again, going back to your point of being self-accountable for stuff, like, yes, obviously, like I said, obviously different levels of program have different levels of support, and obviously like the home program's a little bit more, it's in your court, if that makes sense. Like, there's more self-led, and yes, you do get support from me, but like I said, you ask questions at the right times. I found you asked questions, I was able to support you and give you recommendations, but at the same time, you took the initiative and be like, well, I've done something that feels similar, and I'm going to do that. And like, you then report that. And then obviously I would then review and be like, no, actually that's a brilliant swap. Keep that going. If that suits you, So it's always like, I give sometimes, you give me something sometimes, we meet in the middle, and it's like an agreement to move on to the next one. So then you're better informed. And then I think I could just see with more and more workouts you did, the more confidence you had in doing that kind of like adjustment yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's, like you said, it's the confidence, isn't it? To say, well, it's okay to swap that out, and it's okay. If you can't do that, that's okay. And some of mine, so I've got to my 6 weeks and I've been using my weights, and I actually thought this week, maybe I need to buy a slightly heavier set of weights now. That would be my next step. I'd like to, maybe just up a couple of kilos on my weights now. So, it's how you feel. And I think the videos and the support that I get enable me to self sort of regulate myself in that way, and it's actually quite empowering. It's nice. I'm not being told to do it. It's not do it because Cal's telling me to do it, get on. I feel empowered to do it, and that's nice.
One of the biggest things I remember learning as a coach, but I remember I tried to do a lot when I worked with you guys as rugby players as well. So giving someone a choice and like a decision making process in what they're doing, you always buy in more, because like you said, it's not, again, no one likes being told you have to do this. Sometimes you need that little kick up the arse, but like 9 out of 10 times it's like, well, you can either do this or this, but you've got a constraint, but then it's like, well, you pick, and then you're like, well, I want to do that. It's like you now feel part of the process, and because you're part of the process, it's like, boom, I want to do more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. That's definitely true. That's definitely, how I've grown in the program. Definitely.
Awesome. So I won't keep you too much longer. Say another 5 to 10 minutes max. So
That's all right.
I want to ask you about, how is your tough mudder?
Oh, amazing. Amazing. I can't believe I did it.
Like, first thing like that ever? Have you done anything like that before?
I have never, I did gung ho about, oh gosh, 10 years ago, which was like an inflatable course around Aintree, and it was for children.
Yeah.
So, but it was, yeah, Tough Mudder came about by the race team. So they're all obviously dead sporty, dead fit. And they were like, oh, we'll do it. Let's all do it. And I signed up thinking, oh my gosh, what? To be honest, I signed up thinking I'd probably pull out before the time. Obviously got on my program, my home working program. And I think the change in my attitude and my positiveness towards my fitness, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I feel so much better and I'm on the road to do it. And I feel ready to do challenges like Tough Mudder.
Unreal.
And yeah, it was just awesome. I would recommend it to anyone because it was just brilliant. It was just absolutely mental why you would run around a field and immerse yourself up to your neck in mud and dive into ice cold water and get electric shocked at the end. That was horrific, but it was brilliant. And yeah, it was just great.
Involved. I knew there was mud and I knew there was cold water being shot, but electric shocks.
Yeah, and stupidly, me and my friend Maisie, everyone else ran through and we were kind of stood there like, oh, this is the last one. Should we go round it? And we were like, no, we're going to do it. And we held hands. Well, that was the stupidest idea because every time she got shocked, I got shocked. And I fell over in the middle of it and I crouched down and I was like, oh, it's okay, I'm not getting shocked anymore. And then this wire kept on tapping me on the head and shocking me in the head. Oh, it was just...
It seems like, don't know.
It is absolute. But do you know what? Brilliant. I would honestly recommend anyone to go and do it, regardless of your fitness, because it's such an achievement when you get to the end and you think, oh my gosh, I've just swam through mud and everything. It was just brilliant. Such a good laugh.
It's like, as well, I always find like having a little challenge or a target to aim for, that can be, because obviously weight loss in general and stuff like that can be a bit daunting because it's a lifetime and a long time thing to get in, because again, it's a behavior to keep for your life, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But if you have like a goal like that can kind of help kind of give you some focus so you don't feel like you're just walking aimlessly, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. And I'm already now thinking, right, next year I didn't quite make it up that big ramp, and regardless of 4 people holding onto my hands, they couldn't quite pull me up. I think I was a bit too heavy, but that's what I'm already aiming for next year. I'm thinking I'm going to do it next year and I'm going to get up Everest, and I will, even if people pull me up, they'll be able to pull me up because I'll be fitter and leaner. And I'm already thinking about that now, and that's so nice that I'm whereas before I would have been like, oh no, I won't even attempt it, I'll just walk around that one. And that's the confidence thing just from 6 weeks of this program. It's been brilliant.
Honestly, that's what I love. Like, I'm so glad because, again, like, obviously, I obviously haven't mentioned it on here, but like, you're obviously aware we did like a pre-consult, like a first week consult, like just asking about body confidence, fitness levels, and then we did obviously some measures and stuff, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we did 6 weeks, and then we did the same at the end, and like that's why that's there in my opinion, because like it's not just for me. Like, obviously, yes, I will use that stuff to kind of market and stuff, but like for you and yourself, it's like, sometimes I feel like even in 6 weeks, which is not a long period of time, people kind of get lost and they're like, oh, but what have I actually achieved? And then you look back to what you said at the beginning.
Yeah.
What you say, like, you sound so different.
I know, and it's mad. It is, but I feel more positive about the longer term. That it's don't get me wrong, it's a hard journey when you're in your 40s and you've got to lose weight. The reality of it is it's hard. And I say this when I go out running with my 21-year-old son who's like 60 kilos, and he's like, come on, keep going. I'm like, you're not carrying an extra 4 stone. It's hard jogging when you carry an extra 4 stone, but that's the reality of it. And you can't hide away from that. It's hard to lose weight when you're in your 40s and everything else, but you can't use that as an excuse. You've got to just accept that and build that into your training and say, do you know what, it's not going to happen overnight, but if I can get myself on the proper road to going there, and a road where I think it's achievable, because that's a big one. You start all these programs, you go on these diets, halfway through you never think it's achievable, but I really believe in this one. I really feel like I'm going to achieve where I need to be.
So like honestly, just that alone, like just you can see that you see that you fit into it and you're going to get something from it, because at the end of the day, that's, as someone who's buying something, no matter whether it's this, whether you're buying another product, you want something back at the end of the day. That's exactly what buying is, isn't it? I buy something, and so for you to feel that way, that just summarizes, doesn't it?
Definitely. It's not all about weight loss. I think that, ultimately, that's what the goal is for most people. And if you join the program, that is what you can achieve, but ultimately it's not all about that. And I think that's something that I've learned. When I measured myself, obviously I've been weighing myself, the weight hasn't been mega dropping off, but I have lost nearly a stone now since June, and it's been a nice steady decrease. But my amazing thing was when I measured my, when I couldn't believe I'd lost nearly 4 inches off my hips. I was genuinely like, I was nearly crying with excitement. So that's what it is for me. It's realizing, do you know what? It's not all about what the scales are telling you. It's how you're feeling mentally, how you're feeling physically, where you see yourself in the future. That's been a big, because it a lot of times I've sat at home and thought, I'm just going to be fat forever. I'm just going to be unfit and not happy. And for me, a lot of the fitness is the big thing, because I want to be fit again. I want to be able to run around and not be knackered and get up Everest at Tough Mudder. So it's that mindset change as well, which has definitely come from this course. It's not about the scales, what the scales are telling you. It's about the whole package.
That's why we do like a comprehensive, like you said, a comprehensive package. It's not just scales. There's measures in there. There's photos in there. Like there's like questions to ask and like to like a review, that sort of process. So I think you've just summarized that perfectly. That's why we look at all the things, because it's not one measure is not great, but all of them put together paints a brilliant picture. So I think you've absolutely nailed down the head hammer there. So I appreciate that.
No, but it's true. It is the truth.
Good. I suppose just to wrap up then. So is there any other comments? It doesn't have to be about the program. Anything you just want to say? You can actually, if you want to shout anyone out, you're more than welcome to do that as well. If you want to, just anything you want to wrap up with yourself, if I'm honest.
No, well, I mean, massive thanks to you, Cal. Really, just this program's brilliant for the likes of me, and I'm sure I know a lot of my friends have messaged me, oh gosh, what are you doing, where's this workout? The first thing they all say to me there is, how much have you lost? And I always go back and say, well, it's not about how much I've lost, it's about the journey that I'm going on now, and how I feel it's now definitely achievable. So I would definitely say that back to everyone. It's not about what the scales say. And I think the social media and the diet clubs have sort of hammered that into our heads, and that isn't always true. Look at the bigger picture, but no, it's just I love it. In fact, I haven't got a session tonight, but I was thinking, I might actually do one tonight. But I'm still a bit fatigued from Tough Mudder, so probably a day off would help.
I put off because I was too tired and too hungry. I went out to Nando's instead.
That's all right. We're allowed, but that's the thing. That's the other thing with this program is there's no guilt. There's no, do you know what? If you go and have a pizza tonight, it's not the end of the world. We're gonna, you've now got to starve yourself for the next 3 days. It's none of that, and it's actually really good because it's achievable and it's realistic. That's what I like about it.
I always have this running joke with anyone I've worked with, whether it's in person or online. I'm probably one of the worst coaches for the one reason, because I'm such a foodie.
Yeah.
So when people start talking to me about food, and they're like, aren't you meant to tell people off eating that? So I was like, no, food is food.
No.
It's like, you're meant to enjoy food. You're meant to enjoy that stuff. Like, it's more than just eating, isn't it? You enjoy your company. It's socializing, isn't it? And stuff like that. So that's what.
No, well, I was going to say, you totally hit the nail on the head. Life is for living and enjoying it. And do you know what? If you've got to the point where you've overindulged and you've now got a bit of weight to lose, or your fitness isn't where it used to be, or whatever, that's an acceptance that you have to say, right, okay, well, there is an element of, I am going to have to cut back on drinking. I'm going to have to cut back on, chocolate or whatever. But it's not about stopping it. It's not about you know, restricting yourself and being miserable because you're trying to lose a bit of weight and get fit. That's not, you know, that isn't how life should be, is it? And that's what I like about this program, is at no point do I feel restricted. At no point do I feel like you're going to tell me off because I've gone over my calories or I haven't achieved my protein, or, you know, I only managed to fit in 2 workouts for a week. At no point do I feel that pressure. And sometimes that pressure can stop you doing it, because then you just think, oh well, I can't be dealing with all that hassle, and I don't feel any of that pressure. And I think that what makes me so compliant, because I don't have that pressure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I always find it's a balance. It's like, I think more people need more support in general, and it's very rare do they need someone like. I don't really go down the route telling people off. It's like, you very rarely need someone to share the harsh truth with them.
Yeah.
Someone's really slipping off and they're like, why is it not going? So like, look, if I shine the torch on this, look, this is maybe why we're not going in the direction, but that's okay as long as you can accept that. But like you said, for most people, it's not a shame thing. It's just a look, this is why we are doing well, and this is why we aren't doing well. You know, like, it's a reflection more than anything else.
Yeah, that and that's what I think I like about this as well. There is a lot of self-reflection, you know, instigated through, you know, how your messages and the little sheets you send me, the crib sheets with the food and stuff on, and, you know, that allows me to sit and reflect on, you know, okay, yeah, oh yeah, I probably do eat a bit too much of that, or I could change that for that, and I'm still not, you know, I'm still going to get, you know, like the protein yogurts and stuff, and, you know, adding protein to the normal yogurt, and that's really changed my breakfast. It's ridiculous, but I'm now actually quite happy because I'm not starving myself at breakfast time, you know, which is a great start to the day, which, you know, it's just great. I wanted to just tell you about one. I had I did a workout a couple of weeks, probably 2 weeks ago, just before Tough Mudder.
Yep.
And I'd had a particularly bad day. Everything's quite stressful at home, and we'd been racing a lot. And, you know, just anyway, I did this workout, and at the end, I went out and did a run straight after the workout had finished. And, you know, it wasn't very long, just sort of 15-20 minute run all around the block. And I ran hard like I used to at rugby, and it was so nice. And I came back and it was raining, and I went in the garden and I stood in the rain and I cried my eyes out. But it was just joy and like endorphins and happiness, because if you'd asked me to have done a workout and gone for a run, you know, 6-8 weeks ago, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And I was so happy that I was at this point that I just stood in the rain and cried. Now, my neighbours probably thought I was absolute crackers, but I just stood in the rain, and it was such a euphoric moment. It's crazy.
Honestly, I love those little stories. Like, because I knew about that run and that workout, but I did not know that part. So to know that is even better. That is absolutely phenomenal to hear that.
Yeah. No, it was just, yeah. But that's how it's making me feel. So it's great.